Good morning, my loves, and welcome back to another episode. As you know, this is a space where we talk about healing, growth, and leaning into God's beautiful promises for our lives. I'm so glad that you're here today. We're diving into something that I think so many of us struggle with, and that is contentment. Most of us live in a cycle of always wanting more, whether it's a better job, bigger house, a new relationship, or even just the latest phone. We're constantly chasing the next big thing, thinking it'll finally make us happy. But here's the thing, contentment doesn't come from getting the next gift. It comes from being satisfied with the giver. So if you're feeling restless, like you're always craving something else to make you feel whole, this episode is for you. So have you ever wanted something so badly and then when you finally got it, you felt underwhelmed? Maybe you saved up for months to buy that dream car, or you finally got that promotion you worked so hard for. It felt amazing at first, but eventually the excitement wore off and you found yourself thinking, what's next? That's because our hearts by nature are restless. We're also always looking for something to fill us, but the problem is we often look in the wrong places. No amount of money, success, or even relationships will ever truly satisfy your heart. Why? Because your heart was created to find its satisfaction in the giver, not the gifts. Let's read Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 10. True godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. After all, we brought nothing with us when we came into the world, and we can't take anything with us when we leave it. So if we have enough food and clothing, let us be content. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. Nothing on earth, not people, not possession, not achievements, could compare to the peace and satisfaction that comes from God. There were times in my life when I thought if I could just have this, I'd finally be happy, but every time I achieved that goal or got what I thought I needed, a relationship, a job, or some material possessions, the happiness was always temporary. It didn't take long before I started chasing the next big thing, always hoping the next accomplishments would fill the void. But I've learned that true contentment doesn't come from things or achievements, it comes from within and ultimately from God. It wasn't until I started focusing on the giver, God Himself, that I began to experience real contentment. When I stopped chasing gifts and started resting in His presence, my heart finally found peace. And this is how I fully healed from a toxic relationship. So what does it mean to have a heart full of contentment? It means being so satisfied with God, His love, His grace, His presence, that you're freed from constantly craving the next gift. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming or having goals, but it does mean your happiness and peace aren't dependent on getting something. Contentment is realizing that you already have everything you need in Christ. I know this isn't easy for all. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need more to be happy. Social media makes it worse too. You scroll through Instagram and see someone's picture perfect vacation, house, or family, and suddenly your life feels small. We see someone getting engaged, we see someone getting married, having a baby. That's the lie the world sells us, that more will make you happy. But the truth is, more won't fix a restless heart. Only God can do that. So how do we cultivate a content heart? Let me give you 3 practical steps. 1. Shift your focus to the giver. Spend time with God in prayer, in His word, and in worship. When you're focused on His goodness and faithfulness, the desire for more fades. I am a living proof of this truth. There was a time when I thought the next relationship, achievement, or possession would bring me happiness, but none of it satisfied my soul. Now my contentment comes from God alone, and His peace fills the void I once tried to fill with worldly things. 2. Practice gratitude. Make it a habit to thank God for what you already have. Gratitude is a powerful way to find discontentment. Number 3, trust God's timing. Sometimes we crave more because we think we're missing out, FOMO, but God knows what we need and when we need it. Trust that His plan is perfect. When your heart is satisfied with the giver, you're freed from the exhausting cycle of always wanting the next gift. You can rest in the peace of knowing that you already have everything you need in Him. So today I want to challenge you to pause and reflect. Are you chasing gifts or resting in the giver. If your heart feels restless, bring it to God. Ask Him to fill you with His peace and show you the joy of being content in Him. Thank you for spending this morning with me today. I hope this episode encouraged you to stop chasing after the things that won't last and start resting in the one who will. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a friend who needs a little reminder about where true contentment comes from. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode or a series on devotion. Until next time, remember, true contentment isn't found in the gifts, it's found in the giver. Rest in Him today. Love you.